Hi, I'm Elizabeth Marnoch, Miss Teen Galaxy Canada, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and as I did last night, I'm going to say it's Saturday morning here at 8 a.m. and I have Elizabeth Marnoch, who is Miss Teen Galaxy Canada 2019. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And what time is it for you, just so we know, and what day?
It is 6 p.m. on Friday here in Canada, in Ontario.
Okay, so we are all over the place.
Yes.
Elizabeth, why don't we start with, we were just talking before we went live about pageants in Canada.
Yes.
And you said that This is Galaxy's first year in Canada. But why don't we start with your own pageant experience first?
Okay, so this will be my 8th year competing in pageants. But it will be my 3rd year competing in pageants with titles. So I've had quite a bit of experience. I started when I was 10 and now I'm 18.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you run us through your pageant experience in terms of all the different systems
that you've been through? When I was a kid, I did the Miss All Canadian pageant systems, which is basically like a day pageant, and it just encouraged public speaking and just being on stage. So that really helps me with my journey when I got to title pageants and bigger pageants. And so then when I finally worked up enough courage and enough confidence and I felt like I had enough experience, I dove into the world of title pageants, and I started with Pure International Pageants that's based in the US. Mm-hmm. And then the year after that, I did Captivating. And this year I'm doing Galaxy. In all 3 years, I've represented Canada.
Right. So just to clarify, when you say title versus non-title, that's not a distinction I've heard in Australia. So what does that mean?
So for a title pageant, you usually only compete like once, maybe twice a year at the national and international. Mm-hmm. And you're representing your title, you're going out in your community, you have a platform, and you're working towards one title.
Right.
With day pageants, I like to call them, it's basically you prepare for a few weeks and you show up, but you won't get a title. You'll get a crown and sash, but it really won't mean anything. You don't really do anything with the title. You just have that experience of that day.
Right. Are they different in the way it runs? Like, is it different sort of routines? Is it different sort of walks? Or is it just the fact that it's one day versus like a year reign?
Yes. So I would say the day pageants are more routine, or maybe a little bit more dance routine-y.
Got it.
More themes, like Western wear and things like that, that you would follow. Yeah. So, and then there's no interview as well. Yeah. So we just do on-stage speech. So I had practice speaking on stage.
Okay, so for my Aussie viewers, and that probably is what we call glitz pageants are the one day, and it's more dance routine, and like the toddlers and tiaras sing and they do their dance, whereas we call the longer ones, for example, Galaxy, we call them Miss pageants or Miss systems. So in Canada, it sounds like you guys call them titles, title pageants. But you've been competing for 8 years, which is a long time, given that you're only 18. It's almost half your life. So why did you start in pageants in the first place?
I started in pageants really just to improve my public speaking. I was always wanting to be on stage and performing and doing things like that. I was never a shy kid per se, but I really just wanted to try it. I saw an ad online for the day pageant that I was talking about, and I was forever hooked. I didn't win. I got like 4th or 5th my first time out of like 7 girls, but I was absolutely in love. I went home a little sad, a little disappointed, but the main thing I got out of that was that I would always say, oh, I'm going to come back 100% no matter what place I got. And that's kind of what made it click in my brain that this was for me.
Right. And can you give us an idea as to how you've grown over the 8 years? Because, I mean, you must have learned a lot of lessons.
Yes. So I've definitely learned that connections and meeting with individuals is important, and to maintain those relationships. I've met people from all around the world, and that I've been able to use and call them up if I have any questions, and it's been a really amazing resource for me. Also, walking in heels, really fun. Wasn't able to do that before. And things like this, I don't think I would ever be able to do
Mm.
something like this prior to competing in pageants. It's something that I practice a lot, especially interview. It's something that I find is super important. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
practice a lot.
For sure. Can you give us an idea also as to how big pageantry is in Canada? Because in the UK, it seems to be quite a bit smaller than in the US. I think they're
Yes.
ahead of Australia, though. So, how big is Canada, given that you're right above the States?
Yeah. I would say it's comparable to the UK
Hmm.
in terms of amount of systems and amount of contestants that we get circulating through. Um, for just the Canada pageants, we get about 60 contestants, and there's about, I don't know, like 4 systems that are really big.
Right.
But you can also get appointed titles in the US, and that's what I did. So I haven't actually competed in many Canadian systems myself.
Hmm.
I compete more in the US ones
Right.
just because they're bigger.
Right. So, can you give us an idea as to your Galaxy journey then so far, and how? I
Yeah.
guess why did you pick Galaxy? That's a question I've been asking all the Galaxy girls.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually looked at Galaxy for many, many years. Beginning my pageant journey, probably when I was 14, I discovered the Galaxy system, and it was something that I always wanted to do. And I was able to get an appointed title with Galaxy if I chose to.
Hmm.
But at that time, I'm financially responsible for my pageants, and I didn't feel as though I would have the correct wardrobe or I would be competitive enough with photography and items like that.
Right.
So I did not to do the appointed. And then this year we had the National Canadian Pageant, and it all just worked out really well for me. So that's kind of how I got into it. So I've been really always looking up to the queens. They're always so friendly and so funny and so personable. So there's someone that I've always wanted to be like. So I can't believe I actually am a Galaxy girl now.
Do you have a Galaxy team going with you?
Yes, we have all of Team Canada. We have Junior Miss, Preteen, Teen, Ms., and Mrs.
That's all of them, isn't it?
Except for Little Miss. We don't have a Little Miss, but we
Nice.
will be having one this upcoming national pageant.
Okay. Well, you guys, you're sending a bit bigger team than us Aussies, and us Aussies have had Galaxy for a while, so that's well done. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the interview. Interview is definitely my favorite portion of the competition. Also, just getting to Orlando. It's really beautiful weather here in Canada,
I was going to
actually,
say,
pretty
yeah.
warm. But a little bit of humidity might be nice, except for my hair. My hair probably won't like it, but
Is it
I
going
might like the
to
humidity.
fritz? Is it?
Yes, yeah. We're gonna have a lot of frizz-resistant products in my bag for
A
sure.
lot of hair straighteners.
Absolutely.
Have you been to America much to compete? You said that you've competed more in the American pageants, but have you actually been to America to compete before?
Yes. So I've competed in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and then I've competed in Columbus, Ohio for captivating, and then for pure international pageants, I competed in Orlando
Wow.
2 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot of competing and a lot of traveling. Guys
Yeah.
who are watching, if you have any questions for Elizabeth, put them in the comments below and I will pass them on. But Elizabeth, give us an idea as to what you do outside of pageantry, if you actually have time to do anything outside of it, because you've done so much. But what's a typical week in the life of you like?
Well, something that I'm really passionate about is video editing and graphic design. And so I'm actually just got into my program at the University of Windsor for communication, media, and film.
Mhm.
So I'll be heading there in just a few weeks, actually. Only 3 days after I get back from Orlando, I'll be moving to a different city.
Gee, wow,
And so that's
that's at least your jet
it's
lag
I
shouldn't be too
have
bad.
my lab stuff packed and my university stuff packed. I don't own anything right now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and so I've been, what was I saying?
The video
Oh,
editing.
yeah, graphic design,
Yeah.
video editing. So I've been doing that. I film a lot of YouTube videos,
Mhm.
and I mostly focus on pageant reviews, mostly the universe system. I really, really love sharing my opinions on that and just having fun. Yeah.
Why or how did you get passionate about video editing? I mean, that's probably, I'm just thinking back, that's a first that I've heard from a pageant competitor there, passionate about video editing. And obviously I do a lot of it for what I do here. So how did you get into that side of things?
Well, I've always been creative. So I had a laptop computer, like a not very good quality laptop, and I would turn on the little webcam. You could
Mm.
barely see me. with the quality of video, but we would make little movies in my basement, and I would piece them together with I think it was iMovie or like something that was on my computer already, something really simple. And then from there, I was just hooked. And then high school, I had a course called Communication Technology, where we really dove into actually using the software like Adobe Premiere and all the Adobe suites. And we got to learn graphic design, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I knew it was something that I wanted to pursue as a career later on.
So do you have any particular, because I was about to ask you that with the career, do you have any particular plans as to maybe a dream job that you'd like to have with the video editing and the graphic design?
Absolutely. So also love advertising and marketing. I found that as well through high school. That was something I was really interested in. So I decided I would combine them and do commercials. That's the idea. That's the goal here.
That's amazing. That's a very niche, not very niche, but it's amazing to me that someone at your age has found that, because most people, I guess people like video editing, but it's more as a hobby, but certainly not combining it with the advertising and marketing. So are you learning advertising and marketing? Are you teaching yourself? Like how are you going to go about finding out more about that?
Yeah. So in high school, I took marketing throughout all my 4 years. And then I mentioned I'm going to the University of Windsor, and I'm going to be taking a minor in business while I'm doing that. So I have a good balance, and be well prepared for my dream job.
Sounds like you'll be starting up your own social media agency is what it sounds like.
Well, you never know.
That's a big growth market at the moment with social media and advertising. Okay, so When are you heading over to America? You said you were going, was it via Miss Universe Canada? You sound like you're having a busy trip. You're not just flying straight there.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a little bit of a plan going on right now. Tomorrow morning, I'll be leaving to Toronto, which is about 2 hours from here. I live in London, Ontario, and I'm going to be traveling to Toronto, where I'll be watching the Miss Universe Canada pageant tomorrow night, and then we'll be staying over. And then Team Canada has an interview at a radio station that we'll be doing. Yeah, and then the day after that, we have like spray tans, teeth whitening, all this fun jazz that our director set up for us. And then on the 20th, we'll be heading onto the plane to Orlando.
Right. And how long is your flight?
2 hours, 2 and a bit. So really, really nice.
As opposed to the
compared to the Australians.
Well, the poor UK girls. I think it's 8 hours, and the Aussie girls, like, don't talk about them. They're like probably 24 hours. So
oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
2 hours in Australia is nothing. That's just how long it takes us to get to the airport. Give the viewers an idea as to how you've been preparing. I mean, we've discussed that you've been doing pageantry for 8 years, so obviously you must have some sort of routine and you know how to handle preparation fairly well. But how have you been preparing for Galaxy?
Well, for Galaxy in particular, I really have dove in the appearance portion of the competition, because this is the first time that appearances would actually elevate my score. Of course, I did appearances before, but now I've taken it and made it a priority to make sure I'm on top of it and doing as many as humanly possible. And with that, I've been working with the organization, the Princess Program, which is my platform, and I've been doing lots of events with them and really promoting the Princess Program as much as I can, as well as just throwing out as many interview questions to myself as I can. But my sister's been just randomly throwing them at me, and that's how I find is the best. The sneak attacks are definitely the best form of preparation. Just
asking you questions at random when you're trying to.
That's on my interview form.
Right. Okay. Was it the Princess Program that you said was your platform? Tell us.
Yes, the Princess Program.
Tell us more about that and what's involved with that.
Absolutely. So the Princess Program was made by my local dress boutique. It was started, and it's called Elizabeth Noel, the dress store. And they started a charity because they noticed that a lot of girls weren't able to afford their prom dresses. And it's such a huge experience, especially I just graduated high school. It's basically all we talked about all year, and it's a huge event. So what they've decided to do is now they host a bunch of events and fundraisers to collect money so that girls who are unable to afford a prom dress can get them for free. They also include hair and makeup, nails. It's like a whole experience. And so local girls in my area can apply for this program. Right. And if they're selected, they will be able to pick their own free prom dress. And so for me, I hosted my own event, actually, the second prom charity fashion show, where I I got a bunch of local girls from my area to model their own prom dresses, and we raised money through raffle sales and ticket sales. So I was able to raise a little over $400 for the program.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm sure that it'd make a big difference in a young girl's life. Is that a particular problem near the area that you're living? Is that program just in your area? Is it a national one? Is it statewide? Like, how big is a program itself?
Currently, the program itself is more local, just within my local city. But it's fairly new, and so they're trying to make it larger. I actually just had a meeting with them 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to be helping them with a lot of their future initiatives and making them bigger and better.
Sure.
Especially with my platform, I have such a large audience, and I want to use it and make sure that I'm using my title effectively. So we're going to make the Princess program huge, hopefully nationwide. And if I luckily win the international title, I'd be so honored to do that. Have an even bigger platform to hopefully make it international.
Speaking of winning or not, what
Yes.
plans do you have for, in terms of pageantry and your platform and your title? What plans do you have for after Galaxy International?
After Galaxy International, if I were not to win, I would take a few years off. I really want to get focused on school and make sure I'm in a good headspace education-wise. But my dream is Miss Universe Canada for a Miss title, and my teen dream title has always been Miss Teen Galaxy. So far I'm on the right track. I have my goals, I have my lists and things that I want to accomplish, and Miss Universe Canada would be one of them.
Right. What do you feel that, because you're the first Canadian, I think you're the first Canadian I've interviewed ever for anything. So what do you feel that maybe you bring to the table that some of your competitors might not?
I think I have a really solid plan. I feel like I know what I want to accomplish with my title, and I know that I have the resources to accomplish my goals with the Princess program, with my schoolwork and all that stuff. And I would make really good use of my title. And I think that would separate me. Of course, all these girls are amazing, and I would never want to downgrade what they're doing because they're all doing amazing things as well. But I think that's what makes me stand out personally.
And I think for your fellow Canadians listening in, can you give them an insight? Maybe some of them are wondering about entering pageants. Maybe some of them watching this interview will be inspired to at least look at pageantry. Let them know why they should be entering pageantry and what you've gained from it.
Yes, I would say the number one thing I've gained from pageants is the opportunities. I've been able to meet with so many amazing local and also national charities, and just making those connections have been incredibly valuable to me throughout my life. It's also made me mature over the past few years. Through my teen years, I feel like I held myself very well, and I always presented myself if I was wearing a crown. An invisible crown, if you will. And I think that's just really helped me shape me into who I am today, and hopefully into a good, decent, kind person.
Absolutely. Cindy Withens has said Team Canada. So proud of you, Elizabeth.
That's our director.
Oh,
she's amazing.
Good to know your director is watching. Can you, because as I said, you're the first Canadian that I've interviewed, what is the attitude towards pageantry in Canada? Because in the UK and Australia, it's not really seen as legitimate. Hopefully we'll get there. In America, you can put it on your resume and it's seen as a good thing. So where's Canada on that scale?
Yeah, so for me, whenever I go out with my crown and sash, I never get a negative response per se, but everyone's very confused. People don't know about pageants here.
Right.
So I actually did put it on my resume, and it was an interesting talking point, but I don't think a lot of pageant girls would do that. Not because it's negative, just because it would take a long time to explain, because there are those misconceptions about pageants, and sometimes it gets twisted, even though we know that the systems and the pageantry are always so positive and fabulous. So yeah,
it sounds like Canada, UK, and Australia are pretty much in the same boat in regard to pageants. I was just curious because obviously your next door neighbor is a state, so it's interesting to me that America, obviously pageantry is a big thing, but in Canada it hasn't quite seeped through yet.
Hasn't quite crossed the border yet, no.
Have you been in contact with any of your international sister queens much over social in the lead up to Orlando?
Yeah, so we comment on each other's posts, and I've messaged some of the girls individually when they post something and things like that. They're all super nice, super sweet. I cannot wait to meet them. They're amazing.
Perfect. Okay. Guys, if you have any questions for Elizabeth, let me know and I'll pass them on. Otherwise, we're going to go towards the final 10 questions. But Elizabeth, in terms of people following your journey for Galaxy and beyond, I've got your Instagram handle underneath, Miss Teen Galaxy Canada, and I've got your Facebook page tagged above. Are those the two main platforms to follow you on?
Yes, for pageants, yes. And then my personal Instagram is just liz.marnoch, and my personal Facebook is Elizabeth Marnoch.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's go through to the final 10 questions. Your director is probably watching, so you can impress your director. As a first, this is a world first. This is a Canadian going through my 10 questions. And a lot of Brits, UK, Ireland, everything, Australians, but this is a first Canadian. All right, so let's...
Hey, no pressure.
Let's see how you go. Okay, so question 1. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word is opportunity, and I've found that throughout pageantry. It's just been an amazing thing to go to different events and meet different people, for sure. Opportunity.
Question 2. What is your least favorite word?
Probably the word missed, like missed the bus or missed rehearsals or something like that.
Is that something that happens to you?
Serious FOMO.
Is that something that happens to you a lot, missing things?
Well, sometimes, and I really don't like it when I do that. So,
question 3. What gets you excited? What turns you on?
I think something that gets me excited is when I step outside my comfort zone and it goes well. It doesn't always go well, but it always makes me happy, and it encourages me to continue to step out of my comfort zone for future opportunities and things like that.
Is that something that you really deliberately push yourself to do, is step outside of your comfort zone a lot?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely struggled with just stepping out of my comfort zone and taking chances. I definitely think pageants have helped me just go for it, and it's been awesome.
Absolutely. Question 4, what turns you off?
Rude people. I worked in retail for a little while, and
even in Canada,
everyone to show respect at all times.
I thought Canadians were the most polite people in the world. I'm surprised to know that there are rude Canadians.
Canadian rude, like that's very low. They'll be rude to you and then say sorry.
Well, that's better than in most places in the world, I can tell you.
I guess so. I should keep that in mind.
I can't remember, there was a comedian who said that Canadians are like the nice Americans. That's a joke, by the way, before anyone gets offended.
Oh, you're losing the American audience.
Yeah, no, I always remember that joke. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
I love when popcorn's popping in the microwave because you know a good movie night's coming.
What sort of movies do you like to watch?
My favorite kind of movies are the ones that are like really poorly made, and they just become comedies just because they're funny.
You mean they're so bad it's funny?
Yeah, those are my absolute favorite. I could watch those for hours.
Right. Have you given any thought to editing movies yourself? I mean, you're into video editing.
Pardon?
Have you given any thought to maybe editing movies yourself? Because you, as you said, you're into video editing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I would love to make one of those bad movies. It'd be really fun.
Setting out to make a bad movie. That's interesting. You should make a bad pageant movie. I mean, although...
Definitely a unique life goal.
Yeah. Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
I really don't like when my dog's barking because I have like a little Yorkie and it's very like high pitched and it's not my favorite.
A very yippy dog.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I think I would pick teleportation so I wouldn't have to pay so much to travel to pageants.
I like how your superpower choice is predicated on your pageant career. That's brilliant.
Yes, everything.
Question 8. If you could have any job or occupation other than your own, what would you most like to attempt?
I think I'd make a really good lawyer if I could do it. If I could go through all the books and all the school for it, I think I'd be really good at it because I make good cases and I like to convince people that I'm right.
That sounds like a solid choice. Question 9. Yeah. What job or occupation would you definitely not like to attempt?
police officer. I know Ruby said she might want to do it, but I could never.
And why? Now she wants to do it. Why do you not want to do it?
Oh, I don't really like confrontation, so I don't know if that would be good for me personally.
But again, Canada is full of nice people. I'm sure the police just have...
I know, again, it's the Canadian nice.
Okay, final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think I'd like to hear him say, good job, well done, something along the lines of that, because I always try to make the right choices in life and go with my gut, and I hope so far I've made the correct choices and I'm on the right life path, and hopefully I can get some clarification on that when I get there.
Well, I hope that you get clarification before you get there. If you have to get clarification, if you have to wait until you die to get clarification, it might be a bit less. Like, could you have told me earlier? Elizabeth, just out of interest, again, you're the first Canadian I've interviewed. Are you taking anything sort of Canadian themed over to Galaxy International?
I am. I'm bringing some contestant gifts for the teens. I'll be Canadian themed. A little taste of Canada, if you will.
Okay. Without spilling the beans, if you don't want to.
Yes.
The only Canadian themed thing I know, because I've been to Canada, is, of course, maple syrup.
Yes.
But
syrup. It's not syrup.
Okay, you're not.
But actually, I think one of my Canadian queens, I think, is bringing on some of that. It's really good.
Right. Okay, I'm hearing about all these international delicacies, but the UK girls were talking about, I can't, not Bovril, some sort of dip. Anyway, and the Australians are all taking over Vegemite, which is a horrible.
Ours is poutine.
Yeah. Oh,
so good.
I've had that, and I have to say I don't understand it. It's just like heart attack in a bowl. It's
good.
Fries with...
You gotta keep warm in Canada, you gotta eat up.
It's fries with cheese or something, isn't it? And gravy?
Cheese curds and gravy on top. And it's all melted and delicious and so good.
I remember the first time having that, and I was like, oh God, I don't think I can move after this. I'm assuming you're not taking poutine over because it doesn't want to be in your suitcase, I can tell you for that much.
No, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
Not this time.
Before we finish up, Elizabeth, is there anyone, obviously you had an 8-year journey, is there anyone that you'd like to give thanks to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I would love to give a shout out to my sister. My sister is like my #1 pageant fan. She helps me with everything, and she's actually competing in Canada Galaxy this upcoming time. That's her first pageant, so I'm super excited for her. And also my director, Cindy. She's been such an incredible person throughout this whole experience. So lots of love to Cindy, and I'll see you soon. Okay,
perfect. And Anthony has told me, Biscoff. Biscoff is the UK thing they're taking over. So you're taking over Canadian-themed stuff, but not poutine. The Australians are taking over Vegemite. That's...
I can't wait for the food.
I don't know about that.
Amazing.
I don't think all three of those are going to go together at all. But
well, you never know.
we'll find out. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to keep you on for just a second longer after we hang up with the audience. But thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And best of luck over in America. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll speak to you again soon. Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop. And connect with us on social at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next.